Yo, what is up, fam? Welcome back to the Car Talk Podcast. I just wanted to hop on here for a little bit and just speak my truth with y'all, and I hope you find some value in this. So I'm just going to get right into it. Today, I'm going to talk about how I got through a suicidal moment in my life. Actually, I was thinking of later in my life, but now that I just said that, I am going to tell you about the first ever time that I almost committed suicide. And the only reason why I'm actually deciding to share this right now, I typically would not, I'm saying this out loud, I'm like, holy crap, I can't believe I'm talking about this. So I kind of feel like I should explain myself, give you guys a little bit of context. I am listening to a podcast currently that was just kind of talking about how important it is for those that have gone through something like this to share their message and what kind of saved them and what they kind of held on to in order to be able to make it through those tough times. And so with that being said, the first time that I actually almost took my life, which I'm kind of even shocked that I guess I would have remembered it, but I actually just got a bunch of my childhood stuff, all the things that my mom actually was holding on to for all these years that I, after I moved out, I just haven't seen, literally everything that was in my closet, stuff like that, things I haven't seen for years and years and years, I got back. And in those things was actually a knife that my grandfather gave me that was like a homemade knife, I believe. I think him or his dad, I think, was making knives back in the day or whatever, and ended up making a knife, and he passed it down to me. And to be honest, I was probably in second grade. I probably shouldn't have had that knife, looking back at it. But I had it in my room. It was on display on one of my shelves. And I remember I would, basically act sick numerous times throughout the year, every school year. I hated school. When I say I hated school, I mean so badly that I was literally suicidal. I did not want to go to school. I would get so much anxiety before school. I hated Mondays. I absolutely adored Fridays, but only after 2 o'clock in elementary school, 3 o'clock in middle school, and then in high school, I think I was out at 3 o'clock as well, 2:55. But yeah, I hated school. And I remember one day in particular, I had an awful breakdown, and I think I was literally in second grade. My mom was not gonna let me stay home. I told her I can't go to school. I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was probably, if I remember right, I just would make up that I was sick. So I would just say that my stomach really hurt. I would sometimes I'd lie about puking, or I would say whatever I had to say to get out of school. And this time in particular, I remember I just had a panic attack. Not even a panic attack, just I guess I was so angry. I remember if I could bottle it up in one emotion, it would just be anger. I was just so angry that my life was the way that it was, and I just didn't think that there was any way out of it. And I remember putting that knife, I pulled it out, and I was just crying, and I was putting it to my neck, and I was literally so close to just ending my life right there in second grade. It might have been fourth grade, but I don't think it was fourth grade, because fourth grade was actually solid for me. I had a great teacher. Shout out to Miss Sanford. She was the best. But yeah, I mean, it might have actually been fourth grade, because I changed teachers because I had a woman named Mrs. Peterson, and she was an absolute see you next Tuesday. A super mean woman. I did not like her at all. So it could have been then, but I honestly want to say it was second grade. I don't remember it fully. I just remember being so close to just wanting. I mean, I did want my life to be over, to be honest. I didn't want to be. I knew I had literally to go through. I had an older sister, so I knew. I didn't even need an older sister. I just knew. I literally I have all this freaking time that I have to go through school, and I just didn't think I was going to make it, and I didn't want to try. And I just remember, like, right before I was going to do it, I just thought of everything that I loved. And I remember thinking of my family. I remember thinking of, my dog. I remember thinking of fishing. I remember thinking of my grandparents, and just how much I loved everybody, and how that was how I got through it, to be honest. And I'm so grateful that I did, obviously. And I just want, everybody to know that, obviously, if you're going through tough times, like, I think that is the number one thing to hang on to, is just literally think about all of the things that not only you love, but that love you. And I just, I think it's a pretty fundamental part of my story, and how grateful I am. And I need to remind myself how grateful I should be for every single day, because it could have been a different thought that I got in my head, and I could not be here today. And I remember the same thing kind of happened when I basically fell on my face when I went to college. When I was older, I did not want to go to college. Obviously, as I just said, I hated school. But my family had so much influence on me. Like, they all wanted me to go to college, and particularly my grandparents. My grandparents really wanted me to go to college, and I wish I had the guts to just say, like, okay, if you want me to go to college so bad, just pay for it. But I don't think I was smart enough to really realize what I was getting myself into, as far as I didn't realize how much 20 grand was. Let's be honest. Like, at 18, you don't really know a whole lot about money. I'd been working since I was 15, or 16. Even before that, I would do all kinds of side work, businesses and stuff like that. Lawn mowing, shoveling, yard work, like all kinds of stuff. Anything I'd do for money, to be honest. Lemonade stands. And so I definitely knew quite a bit about a dollar. I knew how to earn a dollar and what a dollar would get me, but at the same time, I didn't realize how much college will set you back, and like how big of a hole you will create for yourself if you decide to go to school. And so I unfortunately went to school, and I decided if I was going to go to school, I'm going to go all out. I love the ocean. I love the idea of just getting away, and I had some bullshit go on in my later high school years, so like in the household type stuff with the stepdad and all that. So I just wanted to get the hell out of Dodge, and that was my biggest mistake. I should not have done that. But then again, looking back, I know everything happens for a reason, and I am ultimately grateful for what happened. But I just, at the same time, I can't believe I'm here today. Like, I really cannot believe I'm here today. Like I'm not saying these things to just fucking say them like nonchalantly, like it didn't almost happen. Like, I genuinely almost killed myself when I was really fucking young, and I almost killed myself when I was about 18. Not about 18, I was 18, and I unfortunately got myself into a little predicament, self-induced, and I'm not going to go into the details on it. But I will say that I unfortunately got myself into some trouble. I owed some people money, I'll just say that. And I couldn't bear the weight of that all coming down on me. And I just knew at that point, it was it. I just went to the beach, and I was done for. Like, I just remember I actually snuck into a hotel room. I was like gonna just I was trying to starve myself for like a week. I just wasn't eating food, I wasn't drinking water. I was just so depressed and so anxious, and just I wasn't myself. I wasn't getting sleep. I lost my mind. Like, long story short, I literally lost my mind. It's, to this day, the scariest thing I've ever experienced in my life. And when I hear people go to like psychiatric treatments and inpatient programs and all kinds of stuff like that. Like, I have empathy for those people, and it has a lot to do with the fact that I was one of those people. I literally lost my mind when I was in college, and I was all the way in Myrtle Beach. And shout out to my homies at the time that I was living with. They did everything that they could, and I am forever grateful for them. But I'm even more grateful for my dad, who somehow knew. I mean, I guess I was sending signals to my family that I was really not doing good, but I wasn't really saying it directly, I don't think. And when I was like losing my mind, I was like doing really weird things. Like, I was FaceTiming my family, and like they could tell something was really off with me, and I couldn't tell them what happened and stuff. So like it was just eating me alive. And I just got to the point where I just went to the beach, and I just laid on the beach. Like, I just was basically gonna try and like just suffocate in the sand. And then I just realized like that was kind of pathetic. And I knew people vacation, like I was on the strip of Myrtle Beach, to give you some context. So I was literally like just face first in the sand, and there's like hotels all to the left or behind me on the beach there. And I was like, all right, this isn't where I want to like be found dead. Like, I was like, honestly, I'm just gonna go into a hotel. So I just walked into a hotel and like acted like I was a resident, like tried to go up the elevator, and I didn't have a key card. So I kind of realized that was going to be the pickle that I was going to have to go through, was just basically finding a open hotel room. So, and the elevators, I remember you needed a key card for, as I think I just mentioned. But I literally am sneaking out of the hotel with some other residents that are going up to their room, and they're kind of like giving me weird looks, and I'm literally soaked. It was pouring outside this day. It was like one of the worst days in Myrtle Beach. It was cold out there. Like, it was just awful. And I was in jeans and a flannel. Like, I literally was like looking like a bum, and I was soaked, like completely soaked. I did look like a dork. And I looked crazy, and that's because I was crazy at the time. And yeah, I was in the elevator. I go up a couple floors, just acted like I was, going to a hotel room, and I literally just couldn't find a hotel room. I was like trying to open them, and then I found one that was like, had a cleaning lady or a maid or whatever, a housekeeper, taking care of like the sheets and all that. And like, I thought I could maybe sneak in there. And I honestly remember getting kicked out. Like, this manager came up looking for me because I literally looked like I just didn't belong in the hotel. And yeah, he just like gave me this nasty look, and it just terrified me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, still to this day, I remember his face that he made to me. And I just remember, like, I walked out of the hotel. I was like, this isn't the one. And so like, I went to another hotel, I hopped in a hot tub, and like, I was just like swimming in the hot tub, basically in all fully clothed, like a complete crazy idiot. And I just kind of like blacked out. I don't even really remember what happened. I remember getting kicked out of there too, I believe. And that was kind of when I just realized, I was like, you know what, this is kind of pathetic. Like, why am I here? Like, I've got a whole apartment that I've paid for. I might as well go to the apartment and just, kick it there. And when I got there, my dad was there. And huge shout out to my dad. I still to this day, I can't believe he left work. I don't remember what exact day it was. It was, I think, maybe a Thursday or a Friday or something. But he left work early. My grandparents booked him a flight to Myrtle Beach, and he literally found a way to my apartment. They didn't even know where I was living at all. I was living in the dorms, and then I withdrew from classes, found a apartment on Craigslist that was like 3 streets away from the from the beach on Myrtle Beach, and yeah, paid the first and second month rent right off the bat, and we were only there for like 2.5 weeks before I basically lost all of our money and lost my mind. And yeah, and I literally, my dad picked me up and I left half of my shit there like a crazy fucking idiot, thinking I was gonna go back there, to be honest. And yeah, so that was like a really, really tough time of my life that I genuinely, I mean, I remember even when my dad picked me up, it was not like the end of my suicidal moments. Like, he literally had to take me to a psychiatric hospital. He was telling me that we were going home, and I was like picking up on the vibe that he was taking me to the hospital, because obviously I'm not an idiot. Even though I lost my mind, I wasn't an idiot. I was like a demonic version of myself, basically. I was literally like seeing my dad type in the GPS, like the hospital, and I was like, oh hell no, Dad, like if you take me to the hospital, I swear to God, I'm gonna jump out of this car. Like, that's straight up what I told him. And I remember I literally unlocked the car while we were going 55 on like a country road, and I opened up the door and I was like, Dad, I'm gonna jump out. I swear to God, Dad, I'm gonna fucking jump out. And he was like freaking the fuck out. I remember he grabbed me so goddamn hard. Like, I've never felt the fucking strength of a goddamn man before. But my dad just gripped my fucking shit so hard. I remember closing that door and just like getting into a fight with him, basically. Not like physical fight, but just like yelling at him, like telling him how he's a fucking idiot and blah, 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 and how he fucked up. Like, I just had so much anger in me from my childhood. Like, I just was running away from my childhood trauma, and unfortunately I wasn't facing it, and because of that, it was coming out in like a very demonic version of myself. And even in that moment, the only thing that I was holding on to was basically the fact that I could tell my dad loved me more than anything. And I'm so grateful for the love of my parents, even though they're not the perfect parents. I am a firm believer that there is no such thing as a perfect parent, and you do have to forgive your parents for their flaws and for their imperfections, because ultimately, you know, I won't understand what it's like to be a father until I have kids, and I just can't also carry the resentment and anger that I have for my parents. Like, it's just, there's a true gift of that forgiveness provides when you fully forgive someone, and that is peace of mind. And I've had very little peace of mind in my life, and I will always crave peace of mind, and I will always do my best to achieve it day after day. But I know time and time again I'm going to fall back to my old ways, and I just have to get more and more disciplined and better at what I know I need to be better at. And that is just being grateful for my situation, and being grateful for my life, being grateful that I'm alive, and ultimately just bringing me back to reality. And that's, you know, that's really kind of important for me to keep in mind as I continuously get older, because I am going to stay the same version of myself. I'm going to obviously get wiser as I get older and experience more things, but ultimately I experienced upbringing that I have experienced, and a lot of my patterns and thoughts and things of that nature are going to come back to haunt me. But I just have to be, you know, more and more prepared each time they come back to fend them off, and, you know, do my best to stay myself. And, you know, that's kind of what I think we all need to do, you know, is just do our best to not let the high school versions of ourselves come out. Like, be the childhood version of yourself, not the high school version of yourself, because the childhood version of yourself didn't give a shit what anyone else thought. Your childhood version of yourself didn't give a shit about money. Your childhood self didn't really want to do anything but what you loved. And I just know that if you really thought back to like the childhood version of yourself, like, what was it that you loved? You know, obviously a lot of you guys know what I loved. I loved fishing. I loved being out in nature. I loved just being out doing what I wanted to do. Like, my favorite time of the year was summer as a kid. And that was because I didn't have to go to school. I was able to do what I wanted to do. I loved life even when I had to mow lawns when I was a kid in summer. Like, it was just dragging a lawnmower from one end of the neighborhood to the other end of the neighborhood. It was whatever. It was so fun to me. Like, the whole process, like everything, like I obviously wouldn't remember the hard times probably about that. Obviously, you know, it is in the freaking heat. Like, I can vaguely remember some of the tough yards we had to mow that were just gigantic, and we were only doing it for like $20. I was like looking at my buddy Drew like, why the fuck did we agree to do this for 20? We should have asked for 40. Like, this yard's huge. And then the next year we would do 40 for that yard, you know? Like, we got smarter, and that's what I love. You know, I love being on my own, doing my own thing, building my own thing. And, you know, I kind of realized that the high school version of myself wanted a house in Malibu, a house in the North Woods, a house in Illinois, you know, like a private jet. Like, I wanted a house in Puerto Rico, like, and I realized, like, that's not the healthy version of myself. Like, honestly, that's what I want to do to peacock to other people, and to, like, that's like the egotistical version of myself. And the childhood version of myself is what I always try to achieve every day. And I think that's the kind of the secret sauce in life, is like, if you lean into what made you pure and happiest most as a child, then I think you will ultimately be happier as an adult. And I know that for a fact because I take so many guys out fishing, and a lot of the guys that love fishing more than anything, I can tell when they're when they're fishing with me. Like, I can literally just tell. And those guys, I just always try and challenge to, like, get out more, like, go fishing more. Like, who cares what the weather looks like? Dress warm and go fishing. Like, you love this shit. As soon as you catch a fish, you're gonna experience what you felt as a child that made you so fucking happy and so, you know, content with this life. And that's what you need to chase day after day. And I think if we all kind of challenge ourselves to live like the childhood version of ourselves, we won't end up needing a brand new car. We won't end up needing the biggest house with a couple extra bedrooms just to have guests over when we, on occasion, have guests over. Like, fuck. If you have guests over, get a pull-out couch so that they can sleep on the pull-out couch. They don't need a goddamn nice-ass hotel room. Like, I just think... I think what needs to be cool again is just simple. I think it's going out, connecting with nature. I think it's spending time with the ones that you love. And I think it's eating healthy, good quality food so that you don't have to depend on medications and prescriptions that doctors want you to be on. Because this life, we were given everything on this earth. We were given every single thing that we need, and I don't think we need to be going, you know, fucking crazy and getting all kinds of extra stuff. Like, I think we really need to kind of take a step back and realize that we can be happy with a little less, and we don't need a ton of stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I always say this, like, I love capitalism. I love the fact that if you work hard, you get, you know, what you put into it. And if you want to have a fat house and a house in another state and a house in another state and, you know, a big yacht or whatever, a private jet, like, all power to you, you know? Like, I really don't think that's that bad. But if you're doing it just for the sake of making your family members look at you in a certain way, or your colleagues look at you in a certain way, or put you on this pedestal, like I just think that's unhealthy. Like, I just think you're not living a healthy, fun, happy life. And I just think that's the issue, because what then happens is they start peacocking, posting Instagram photos and posting reels about them riding on their nice fancy private jet and doing all this fancy stuff, and then flaunting it for all of these followers that they have that wish they could afford that kind of lifestyle. And knowing damn well that so many of those people are unhappy, it's just a shame that these people that aren't as well off, or financially well off, I should just say. You know, they might be living happy, but ultimately, like, if you're wanting more and wishing you were someone else, you're just going to get robbed of joy. You're not going to live a joyful life, and before you know it, this life is going to pass you up, and you won't even get to experience the full beauty that this life offers. And I know that I constantly do my best to fight for the best life that I can live, and I just want you to do the same, fam. I know that not everyone is going to get down to rock bottom, and I hope you never do, but just know that if you do, there are people that love you. There are so many outlets that you can go to get help. You can reach out to me in any way, shape, or form. I will happily help. But there are better resources out there, and I will definitely lead you in the right direction depending on, what kind of situation you're in. But I just want you to know that there are people out there that might not even be in your life right now that love you and that want the best for you, and it is worth it. It is 100% worth it to keep fighting. So I love you, fam. I hope you're well, and as I end every podcast, if you're happy, please spread that happiness in one way or another, whether that be a phone call to a friend, whether that be a text to someone, or maybe a Instagram post or a tweet. Just spread some happiness in one way or another, fam. And as always, stay curious. Without curiosity, fam, we have nothing left in this life. Keep pushing to be better, and keep pushing, fam, in general. You've got this. I love you so much. We're all rooting for you. See you in the next one.